What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com. Let's talk some Sunday night football. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Miami Dolphins. Everything we do, absolutely free. So as always, please hit that subscribe button down below. Go ahead and let us know in the comments how you are going to play this game this week. As we sit right now, go to blended. We are looking at 7.5 in favor of the Dolphins across the board. 44.5 is your total. Now, will this thing get back to a touchdown? I don't know. That is the thing that I am, look, I played the Dolphins in the contests that, I'm in. I played the Dolphins small at 7.5 is a completely different story. As we sit right now, that's where we're at across the board. Now, look, a lot of people are going to be betting into this thing. As we get closer to the game, I would monitor if you're looking for the flat 7. Of course, if you want the 7.5, maybe just go ahead and bet it now. I don't know if it's going to run to 8 or anything like that if you do want the Steelers, but certainly something to act on in this one. I'll scroll down. You can take a look at the Dolphins injury report. Not all that bad, actually. Should be pretty good for them. All the guys that were, meaningful look like they're going to go, according to the beat writers here for the Pittsburgh injury side of things. Pretty good on them as well from an injury perspective. Here's the Dolphins offense versus the Steelers defense on the screen right now. And basically what we're getting at right now is a Dolphins offense now with Tua back under center. It was one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. And, listen, love or hate Tua, whether you think he's got long-term success in the NFL, doesn't really matter. Under this Mike Daniels offense, in the way they've been going about it, it's just been highly efficient, right? And you add Tyreek Hill to the mix, and he's been awesome. And what you get is the 6th overall DVOA offense, even with Tua having to miss a game. 13th, according to Pro Football Focus. Their pass offense, 5th overall in the NFL. Now, the one problem, they are allowing a lot of pressure on Tua. You've probably seen him. He's running for his life. That's the reason he ended up, getting in the concussion protocol and all the different things like that, right? Is tons of pressure. So this offensive line certainly needs to step up. Fortunately, though, you are getting a Pittsburgh defense without TJ Watt out there. They are 29th in pressure rate. So we are getting an offensive line that's been giving up a lot of pressure, but a defensive line that hasn't been creating much pressure at all. So at least there is that going for the Dolphins in this one. Again, everything else with this offense has been humming. They are offensive EPA, they're in the top 12. Yards per play, they're in the top 5. Yards per pass, they're in the top 3. Early down success, they're in the top 10. So again, this Miami offense, believe it or not, really and truly with Tua under center, one of the better offenses in all of the NFL. Scroll up here to the Steelers offense versus the Dolphins defense. And as you know, this is just not a good offense at all. They've moved to Kenny Pickett, obviously, and that's, there's more upside there for sure. But the offense overall is just not very good, specifically the rush offense, where you've got Najee Harris, and you would think that would be, enough to make this at least a somewhat formidable rush offense, but it's not, because the offensive line is so terrible. Like, the offensive line is just complete garbage. And so what we've got here is actually the 31st overall rush offense DVOA in the entire NFL, 29th according to Pro Football Focus. If you look at adjusted line yards, 26, yards per rush, 28th. So it's just across the board a terrible, terrible rush offense, which means a lot of this is going to have to fall on Kenny Pickett's arms and what he can do through the air. Fortunately, this Miami defense has actually been one of the more disappointing units of the entire NFL season so far. We thought this team was going to be good all around. Really, they've only been good against the run, and they've been really bad against the pass, like really bad against the pass so far. Weirdly, a top 5 run against the run unit, but a bottom 5 against the pass unit. So again, path of least resistance for Pittsburgh, if you look at this, should be through the air. They can't run the ball. That's where the Miami defense excels anyway. So you might as well throw it and throw it a ton, right? And see what happens. Try to create a high variance game, because again, you are certainly the inferior team when it comes to this one. So for me, guys, where we're sitting right now, with this thing sitting at 7.5, honestly, I think the best way to play this would be to open up a teaser leg on Miami. And you could pair it with Monday night, which is taking the Patriots down to 2. They're sitting as 8-point favorites right now. So if you're watching this, you obviously still have Monday Night Football in front of you. And so I would play Miami and New England in a teaser, get Miami down, through the 7.5 all the way down to 1.5, and then take New England down from 8-2. I actually have that teaser in my account as well. So this is not me just making some sort of blanket, rando recommendation. I actually have played that. I think this number's short on Miami in the first place. I think if we knew for sure the health of Tua, and listen, this is my caveat in all this, is we do not know what is going on with this new concussion protocol. And I'll just continue to scroll if you guys want to read along on the article here. We don't know what's going on with this new concussion protocol. So that is the only thing that gives me pause here, because he could take one big hit and then they get a call from the sideline. He's out. I don't know. We don't know yet, because we don't know how this is all going to play out. So there is that factor in this that none of us can control. None of us can predict. We just kind of have to pray that he plays the whole game for our bet on Miami in this thing, which is why it does give me a little bit of hesitancy, even if the thing does get back to the flat 7, to play it straight up, right? It's just because there is a chance here, one weird sack, one weird fall, one whatever, and the next thing you know, we're going to backups again in Miami. And that completely changes everything, because this offense under Tua is just a different offense than it is with anybody else under there. They're just that much better. So do take that into account whenever you're going to play this one. I don't have anything on the total. I think there's a chance for Pittsburgh to get some garbage time points here. And if that's the case, look, we'll scroll back up here to look at this. 44.5. It's past that 44, which is a key-ish number when it comes to totals. Could Pittsburgh get some garbage time points here? Sure. To get this thing over, I guess. I'm just not in love with the total really at all in this thing. So again, I really do like Dolphins, though, from a teaser leg perspective, teased into that game on Monday night with New England. On a prop side of things, guys, listen, if I think that Miami's going to get the better of Pittsburgh here, I think Mike Tomlin is still sharp as a coach. He probably knows they can't run the ball at all. He probably sees that Miami defends the run really well and is really bad against the pass. And so with that, I'm not even going to go yardage or go anything like that. I'm going to attempts on Pickett, right? Like if they can't run and they come out with the game plan of not running, which they should, and throw the ball against a defense like we just mentioned, bottom 5 in all metrics against the pass, then I think he's just going to throw the ball a ton. And so if that's the case, I'm going to play the over on the attempts for Pickett. I'm not going to try to figure out how efficient he's going to be. I'm not going to try to figure out any of that stuff. I'm just going to say that he's going to have to throw the ball 34 times in this game, or that their game plan is for him to throw the ball 34 times in this game. Because again, path of least resistance for this Pittsburgh offense. So like that prop. And then over on this side, Tyreek Hill, look, he's just been an absolute target hog. With all of this, they've been generating a ton of stuff just to get the ball in his hands. And so as opposed to playing the yards, even though he can break it at any time, I'm just going to play the receptions. Plus, we're getting a little bit of plus money as well on the over 6.5. They have been generating these short passes for him. So, there is a scenario, though unlikely, where he gets to 7 catches and doesn't get to 79 yards. Again, though unlikely, I'm going to go ahead and just play the receptions, because again, they've been doing a lot of stuff close to the line of scrimmage to get the ball in his hands and have him do a lot of yards after catch stuff. So I'll just play that they're going to throw the ball to him close to the line of scrimmage like they have been. So Tyreek Hill over on the 6.5 receptions. If you want to do a same game parlay here, this is basically the Dolphins kind of roll parlay here. The Dolphins get an easy-ish win. Same game parlay. Tua goes for over 224. So Tua's got to go for 225 yards. Tyreek gets 70. He gets 8 receptions, right? Like if Tyreek Hill gets 8 receptions over 70, then Tua's most likely to go over 224 yards. And then the Dolphins are likely having a really good day, which means that they win this thing by, a touchdown. So we took the point spread down to 6.5. And then what we get there is plus 425. Now, if we wanted to add an element into this, if we say, okay, look, if they're doing good, and that means Pittsburgh's trailing from the get-go, and Kenny Pickett's just having to air it out all over the place. Say you want to add in that Pickett makes it to 195 passing yards or something, then that would boost this thing up to 550 if you wanted to get over that. That is somewhat correlated, especially if there's garbage time, just, super soft coverage and Pickett's just able to kind of like dink and dunk down the field and stuff like that. So, I mean, that is somewhat correlated as well. And, of course, if you want to get more bold and say he gets to 220 yards or something, this thing goes all the way up to plus 675. So again, just different ways to go about this, but the baseline of, okay, a solid Miami win is this, and then you can tweak it, a couple of different ways if you want to, as far as getting a bigger payout. But again, with this getting through the 7 all the way to 7.5, I think it's more of a teaser leg for me now. Dolphins down to 1.5, paired up with that Monday night game. Really do love the Patriots in that one as well, from 8 down to 2 against one of the bottom 5 teams in all the NFL and the Chicago Bears. Guys, everything we do absolutely free, as we just mentioned. So please go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the little bell as well so that you can get notified every time that we post a video on the channel. Doing awesome stuff here, tons of stuff different. Now that all the sports have started, you're going to be able to get basketball. You're going to get college basketball pretty soon, all things like that. So be sure and take advantage of all that. Let us know in the comment section, how are you playing this game? And certainly interested to see, is there anything that that you're seeing that I'm not? Good luck here on all your bets on Sunday night.